This
Discussing about as a
conference will
consultant.
now be recorded.
As a consultant, what is your role and responsibilities in the support project? So today we'll be discussing about the first concept of sales and distribution, that is enterprise structure. So what is enterprise structure? Enterprise structure is like organization structure. That means what all the organizational elements we would be having in a business. Let's say in a business you would be having lots of hierarchy and lots of elements, right? You'll have a planning department, purchasing department, sales department, HR department, like this, right? So this all departments should get coordinated together so that a complete structure or an organization can be formed. So how an organization structure is formed through an enterprise structure. That means technically in the S4 HANA, sorry, technically in the SAP, we call that as enterprise structure. In general, in business, we may call it as organization structure, or some companies call it as organogram. So whatever it can be, but in the SAP, we call it as enterprise structure. So let's see what all the elements, organizational elements we have in the enterprise structure, and what is the purpose of each organizational element, and each organizational element, and how they are connected. So let us discuss in brief, in detail, everything what about the enterprise structure. So when you go for the requirement gathering in the BBP phase, there will be a workshop conducted for this enterprise structure, because not one module can decide this particular enterprise structure, because it needs is the most important thing. So how best you have you or how simplified your organization structure is, that good the business can do, and reporting, analytics, everything can be. Because the more complicated your organization structure is, the reporting will get more complicated, right? So there will be a workshop conducted for enterprise structure, which is technically led by FI people. So first element in the organization structure. So we will be discussing about FI, SD, and MM here, because only SD will not function, right? So the first organizational unit is company. Just excuse me. Hello, hello. Yeah. So company is the first organizational unit you create in the enterprise structure. But when we create this company, in what scenarios? So only in two scenarios you create this company. So what are the two scenarios in which we create the company? That is, whenever your business is in multiple, that means in different geographical locations, so that means in different countries, or whenever your business have a sister company, okay, that means it's a group of company. In this scenarios only you will be creating a company. So company is a FI organizational unit, and it's not mandatory you should create a company for every business scenario. Company will be created only in two scenarios. One is when you have a group of companies, that let's take in India, you take Tata. So Tata has multiple businesses, right? So Tata Motors, Tata Coffee, Tata Tea, Tata Steel, right? And Tata Power, like this. So whenever you'll be having a company like this group of companies, you'll be going for company. And the other scenario is a business having operations in multiple geographical locations. Apple US. At the same time, Apple also operates in Apple India, Apple US, sorry, US by default, UK, and Apple Australia, like this. So whenever a business is having operations in different geographical locations, even then we will be going for a company. Okay. and company is the highest organizational unit in the FI module. Company and company code are created by FI consultants. Okay, it's created by FI consultants, and company is the highest organizational unit of FI module, right? So in our discussion, we will not create company because we are not going for any group of company kind of project discussion scenario. We will be discussing only an individual company, right? So the next comes is the company code. So what is a company code? Company code. See, let's say if you want to start a business, the first thing what you do, we register the business with the government, whether it can be a public limited, private limited, LLC, PLC, whatever it can be, right? Whatever it can be, we will be registering the business. If it is in India, we register the business under the 1956 Act, Companies Act of the Indian government, right? That means whenever you register a business, you specify what is the capital you are investing, and you also specify what is the registered office address. So these all details you should provide whenever you're registering a company, right? So company code is a physical entity. See, these all are organizational elements or organizational units, but some are physical and some are imaginary. Some are physical and some are imaginary. Company is imaginary. You don't see a company, but you see a company code, because company code, it is responsible for all the external financial activities. Okay? A company code in a business is responsible for all the external financial activities. It can be balance sheets, it can be profit and loss statements, it can be anything that is happens at the company code. And company code represents business in one country. That means Apple US, right? And Apple India, right? So Apple US is a separate business entity in US, and Apple India is a separate business entity in India. So whatever the profit and loss Apple is making in India is everything like the balance sheet or the profit and loss statement, everything is declared in the Apple India under the Indian currency, INR, right? So if you take a group of company, let's take Tata. Whatever the earnings happening with the Tata Motors is anywhere related to the Tata Power? Anyone? Anyone? The earnings of Tata Motors or the profit and loss of Tata Motors is anywhere related to Tata Power? No, right?
No.
It's nowhere
No.
related. It's nowhere related because both are two different business entities. But when you want to declare the like balance sheets or anything at the group level, then does it matters?
Yes.
Right? It matters at that time because all the businesses entity of Tata comes under the Tata Sons group, right? So a company code can be, if you start a business in India, let's say Tata Motors. How many Tata Motors can we have in India, or how many TCS we can have in India?
One.
Only one. Only one, right? That means a business can have only one entity in country, per country. But TCS can have 100 branches in 100 countries. Okay, and all at that time you will have 100 company codes. Okay, one company code represents business in one country. Right? If your company does not have any exports or you are a local domestic company, then it have only one company code. Let's say within US, you have one. Your business is only US. You don't export anything. Then it is only one company code, right? So a company code is responsible for all the external financial activities, for like balance sheets or profit and loss statement. It can be anything. So you see, one company can have any number of company codes. Like say you take this Tata, this can be Tata Motors, this can be Tata Steel, this can be Tata Power, or anything it can be. Or else, if you take this as Apple, This can be Apple US, this can be Apple India, and this can be Apple UK, right? So a company code is for only one country and it represents the business in one country, right? And the highest organizational unit in FI module is company code and is created by FI consultants, right? Then next come to our area of interest, that is sales. This is all related to the SD module, sales. The highest organizational unit in SD module is sales organization. Yeah, company code is a physical. Company code has an address. Company code is a physical. So the relations are very important. In the interviews also they ask these relations. What is the relationship between a company and company code? Or what is the relationship between a company code and company? Anyone? What is the relation between company and company code? One
One to
company can
many.
have, right? It is one to many.
Many.
If it is
Yeah.
company code to company,
Many to one, I guess.
many to one, right? This relationship is very important when it comes to the interview. They'll for sure ask this question, right? So sales organization is the highest organizational unit in the SD module. Okay, it's highest organization in the SD module. And let's say I want to take a personal loan. Okay, I want to take a personal loan as a self-employed. So I go to a nearest, let's say Citibank. Okay, let's take something Indian. Let's say I go to nearest HDFC bank. Okay, nearest HDFC bank, and the branch manager has offered me an interest of, let's say, 16%. Who has fixed this 16% for self-employed? Anyone? Who has fixed this for self-employed? It should be 16%.
RBA.
No,
Okay,
strategic department, probably SDFC.
right. The strategic department of HDFC will be putting this because this should be at par with the competitors, right? If another bank is offering 14%, I'll go to that bank, right? So it should be at par with the industry competition, right? So who will take this decision? The vice presidents or general managers of HDFC who are sitting in the head office. See, this is only a bank, one branch, but all these branches will come under HDFC, the corporate office, which is sitting in the Mumbai, right? Sales organization is your corporate office. That means in the sales organization, your vice presidents, your general managers would be sitting and taking the strategic decisions. Decisions are made here, not executed, right? In the business, how it would be, in the top level, decisions will be made, and then the lower level, decisions would be executed, right? So at the sales organization level, decisions are made. That means the strategic decisions are made. Who will be doing that? Your vice presidents and these top level C managers will be doing it, right? And how many sales organizations we can have a business? SAP allows you to create any number of sales organizations. You can create 10, no problem. But this is a very important question also in the interview. How you convinced your user to have less number of sales organizations? How you convinced your user to have less number of sales organizations? Why you should convince? And why you should have less number of sales organizations? What is the reason? Because see, SAP allows you to create any number. This is the same question you will be facing from the user also. When SAP is allowing me to create any number of sales organization, then why you are restricting me? The recommended sales organizations are two. Don't go beyond two. Okay, and that too, it can be like this. Let's say if I take in India, see, I can partition like this and call it as Northern Sales Organization N001, Southern Sales Organization S001, Eastern E001. Like this I can create, right? Four sales organization, but it's not recommended. Why it is not recommended to have this many sales organization? Because your structure, your reporting will get very tedious. Later you will see how tedious it will be. So it is always recommended that you should have only two sales organization. One is domestic, one is export. All domestic, do it under one sales organization. All exports, do it under another sales organization. That's it, only two, right? And you see here, one company code can have any number of sales organization. Under one company code, you can have any number of sales organizations. So the relation is, this is one to many, and this is many to one, right? These relations are important for the interviews. Okay, so this is sales organization. So if you see here, under the sales organization, you are seeing something called as distribution channel. What is this distribution channel? Let's say if you want to buy some paracetamol, what you do, you buy it from a pharmacy or you go to the plant. You go to the manufacturing plant or you buy it from the pharmacy. What we do?
Pharmacy.
We buy it at the pharmacy, right? Because we are a retail customers. Remember, SAP is a B2B. SAP is always B2B. There is SAP in the sense SAP SD module at least. SAP SD module. Any question? Can everyone please mute? Yeah. See, SAP SD is B2B business. We don't have end customers like you and me there. If I say customer in the SAP SD module, that can be a dealer or a distributor or a wholesaler or a retailer. These are the customers. It is not you and me as an end customer. Okay, the end customers are taken care by different modules called as CRM, Hybrid, C4C. There are different modules, customer service, CS. These modules will take care of this particular end customer. But always, when I say customer in SAP SD module, it is always B2B. So here we are not talking about the end customers, right? So who is the customer? Let's say if I take a company, automobile company, Maruti. Automobile company Maruti. Who is the customers for Maruti? Anyone? Who are the customers for Maruti?
Dealerships.
Dealers.
It is
Dealerships.
dealers, right? Just yeah. So who are the customers for Maruti? It is, so anyone from other country. Maruti is a car manufacturer in India. You can take any car. You can take Daimler or you can take a Ford, any car. Others from other country. So Maruti, the customers are dealers, or it can be anything else. If you take pharma company, if you take pharma company, it is dealers, distributors, right? So if a dealer want to buy a goods, how do they do it? That means, what is distribution channel? Distribution channel is the channel through which the goods reach the end customer. So who is the ultimate customer of Maruti? It is the end customer like you and me who will buy the car and drive it, right? But do I directly go to the Maruti plant and buy a car? No, I don't do that. I buy it from a dealer. So what is a dealer? What is the distribution channel? It is the channel through which the goods reach the end customer. That means from the company, how the goods reach the end customer through this particular channel called as distribution channel, right? If you take pharma company, it's the same way. From a pharmacy, from a pharma company, it goes to the dealers, distributors, then it goes to the end users or farmers. It goes to the pharmacy, we go to pharmacy and we buy it, right? So what is distribution channel? It's the channel through which the goods reach the end customer. Okay. The next is, let's say I have a very big deal. Okay. My company is a hospital. My business is a hospital, and we need 100 ambulances. The hospital, the business has decided to buy 100 ambulances. So will I go to dealer to buy it, or will I directly approach the company? Anyone?
Direct to company because we get the deal through them.
Okay. So whenever you have a bulk deal like this, So whenever you have a very good deal like this, like a school buying school buses or like hospital buying an ambulance, so it can be anything. Whenever you have bulk deal, what you do is you can go to the Maruti directly. Maruti will not directly sell the goods. Never a distribution channel is eliminated in the sales process. What Maruti can do is it will search for a dealer who is capable of servicing this bulk deal, and it will route the business through that dealer. Because see, Maruti can give a best price offer, but who should give the service tomorrow? That is obviously a dealer, right? So in any business, let's say your company or your business is a bank, and your bank is intending to buy some 10,000 Microsoft operating systems. So you can approach Microsoft as it's a big deal, saying 10,000, but Microsoft will not directly sell you. It will give some a dealer number or a dealer contact, which will with the dealer should be having a capacity to take care of that much volume of business. So a distribution channel is never eliminated in between, right? So what kind of distribution channels we can have? As I told you, we can have dealers, distributors, retailers, wholesalers, online. It can be anything we can have, right? The combination of the sales organization and distribution channel, this combination, sales organization and distribution, this channel is technically called as sales line. Okay, this combination is technically called as sales line. So in the interviews, if they ask you what is sales line, it's a combination of sales organization and distribution channel. The next is division. What is a division? Let's say Maruti want to manufacture some car. What would be the first decision they will take? Anyone? What is the first decision they will take if they want to manufacture some car? Anyone?
Market survey.
No, no. What kind of car, right? First, they decide whether to manufacture a school bus or a SUV or a hatchback or a sedan. This would be the first decision they will be taking. Then the plan, execution, everything will be in that direction, right? So that is a division. What is a division? A division is group of products with similar properties or natures. That means you will have in a automobile, what all divisions you will have? You will have SUV, you'll have hatchback, you'll have trucks. It can be anything, right? That means if my automobile company decides to manufacture, the first thing they will decide is whether to manufacture a SUV or a hatchback or a trucks, and the complete plan will be executed only on that particular basis, right? So what is a division? A division, that means a division is like collection of products which are having a similar properties or nature. Okay. We also have something called as product hierarchy. That is a different, actually, that comes later anyway. But division is nothing but group of products which shares the same common properties or nature. Let's say in India at least, okay, you go for Maruti Baleno and Ritz. Maruti Ritz or Maruti Baleno. What is the common in between these two cars? Anyone? Both are
I
hatchback
guess
cars.
they both belong to same segment.
Yeah, same segment. They don't have the boot at the back, so they are small cars, right? So that means they have the both same properties. They belong to same segment. So that is division, grouping of products. So you see here, one sales organization, one distribution channel, one division is put into one box called as technically sales area. Sales area. What is a sales area? It's a combination of a sales organization, distribution channel, and division. Any sales activity under SD module should be performed under sales area. Whether you create a customer, whether you create a sales order, a quotation, or a credit memo, debit memo, whatever you do under the sales module should be under the sales area. Your customer should belong to a sales area, your sales order should belong to sales. Anything under the sales should be belongs to under the sales area. Then next, under sales area, you see something called a sales office. Sales office is again okay. Distribution channel and division are imaginary. They are not physical. Okay, they are not physical. They are imaginary. And sales office is physical, where actually the sales is executed. Your customer can walk into the store and you can perform the sales, you can address his grievances, whatever it is. So decisions are made at sales organization and decisions are executed at sales office. Sales office is again a physical location. Under sales office, you have sales team, right, performing common objective. That means, see, you go to a bank, there will be vehicle loan department team, insurance team, there will be home loan team separately. What's their objective? To sell that particular product. So, sales group is group of products who are with the similar, what we call objective. Okay, with the same objective, we group the people, and a sales office, you have sales groups. So these are the part of SD module, and in the SD module, the highest organizational unit is sales organization. Right. The next coming to the MM part. Let us also discuss a little bit of MM because it's important for us. Yeah.
Hello, Praveen. Can you explain a little bit about the division you said once again?
Yeah. Yeah. Division is a group of similar products. Okay. It's a group of similar products. What is group of similar products? That means, as I mentioned, let's say you take a automobile company. In the automobile company, what kind of divisions or segments we'll have? In a or else you take two-wheelers, motorcycles. So in the motorcycles, what segments you'll have? Scooters, and again you'll have motorcycles. And the motorcycles again you have segment of the CC capacity, 350cc, 500cc, 800cc, 1000cc. Right. So division is grouping of products with similar natures or similar characteristics, or simply we can call it as a segmentation of the products. Right. Okay. So this is SD. Coming to the MM. See, when I say plant, what comes into your mind? Anyone? When I say plant, what comes into your mind?
There is manufacturing department.
Storage location.
Storage.
Manufacturing facility.
Right. Yeah. So when I say plant, most of the time something like a factory where there is a manufacturing machinery, this kind of things comes into your mind, right? But when I say plant, coming to the SAP, we see plant in three different ways. One is manufacturing plant, and the storage plant, and delivering plant. Every module sees a plant in a different way in the SAP, right? So if it's a PP module, they see it as manufacturing plant because they are production. MM, they see a plant as a storage plant because they store the materials. And SD, we do delivery from the plant, so we see it as a delivering plant, right? So plant is a cross module. Plant doesn't belong to any of particular module. Plant is a cross module. Every module use the plant, right? But technically, in the interviews, if they ask a question, what is the highest organizational unit plant belong to? Anyone? To which module this should belong, this plant? Or else they will ask a question, what is the highest organizational unit for FI, SD, MM, PP? FI, there is no doubt, it is company code. SD, there is no question, that is sales organization. But what is for MM and PP? That is?
Pradeep, can we say the highest structure in SD is a sales area or a sales org?
Sales org. Highest organizational unit will be only one.
Okay. And that's sales org.
Yes. Under that, all the organizational elements will sit.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So what belongs to MM and PP? This is a very big debate in the SAP itself, because My company is a trading company. We don't manufacture anything. We do just only trading. That means we take material from some vendor and we deliver it to the customer for some profit margin or commission. So how can I call my plant as a manufacturing plant? I cannot call it, right? It's just a storage plant. I take the material trading and I put it and just again I sell it, right? So as I told you, plant does not belong to any particular module. It's a cross module when it comes to the business. But technically, plant belongs to PP. But what if for the MM, what is the highest organization unit for MM? That is purchase organization. This is for interview purpose. See, in the interviews, if they ask the question, what is the highest organizational unit for MM? It is purchase organization, and for plant is for PP. Why I'm specifically telling this? For sure, they ask lots of questions on this, right? But our discussion say we'll take plant for MM here in the training. We'll take plant for MM because plant is also a storage plant. As an SD, we don't bother about manufacturing. We bother about the storage of material because when you want to do a delivery, material should be available, right? So let's take plant for MM. So MM is the highest organizational unit. So let's say plant, sometimes a plant can be 10,000 acres, such a big plant.
Sir,
If I
I'm
ask
sorry
you,
to interrupt.
Sir,
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Shashank. I wanted to ask one question related to plant actually.
go ahead.
I just had it in my mind. I used to work for the Lumax. So, like Lumax has three plants: Bawal, Darueda, Manesar. So, from these three plants, they used to supply different products to Maruti. So, my question we will,
Hello.
I mean, define them. Are they the
Sorry.
sales organization? Sir, my
Can you repeat,
yes, sir.
Shashank? I
I'm
lost your
audible.
voice in between.
Okay.
Can you repeat?
So the question was, sir, that these three plants, what we call these three plants, are they the sales organization or they like the manufacturing plant which are supplying to the this Maruti?
See, plant is a plant. Plant is not a sales organization. It's a clear demarcation. Sales organization is only for sales. Okay.
Sir, so
But plant is a
this
plant where we store the
okay.
goods.
Okay, so they used to manufacture, and from there it gets supplied to Maruti, and the company's corporate office was in, I mean, it is in Gurgaon, but it's located somewhere else. So that corporate office will be considered as sales organization then?
Corporate office will be considered as the company code.
Okay,
Okay.
right.
If they have the sales department also within the corporate office, then we call that as a sales organization.
Okay, okay, sir. All right.
Okay.
Gee,
Yeah.
thank you.
So plant. So as I'm telling that, so there can be a very big plant of 10,000 acres. So if I ask some, please go and get me X material 100 quantity out of the 10,000 acre plant, is it possible for us to get it? No, right? Because it's such a big, we cannot find out. So what they do in the plant, organize, they organize each and every material, right? How do they do it? They do it with storage location. So all the raw materials, we put it in storage location 1. All the finished goods, we put it in storage location 2. That means a plant is categorized or segregated again into storage locations so that we can put the materials into particular storage location, and even again finished goods I can put it in 4 or 5 storage locations. Okay, so storage location is a subclassification of a plant where we store the material, and anything below to the storage location, it goes to the warehouse module, it goes to bins, crates. That means we can even pinpoint saying that where this material is, whether it's in transit or it is on some crate. Even that level we can pinpoint with the warehouse module, but we'll not get into that discussion. So it is up to storage location, right? So a plant is segregated into storage location so that we can store the goods and we can deliver from that particular goods. Then next, you can see here for a plant, something called a shipping point is assigned. What is shipping point assigned? See, in how many ways we can deliver a goods to the customer? Anyone? What are the modes of transport available to deliver the goods to the customer?
Road transport, sea transport, air transport.
Right? There are 5 kind of transports: road, rail, air, overseas, inland water. Right? Inland water is within the country. If you have this water transportation facility, you can do inland water. Most of the Venice, these thing countries you can see. Overseas means when you cross the border or across the oceans, right? So five kind of transports are available. So if I want to do a transport through road, what's the best method? We use trucks. But how do you load the goods onto the truck? There can be you can load the goods onto the truck using a crane or a ramp or forklift, right? There are lots of other facilities for you how to load the goods onto the truck. That means if you want if you want to load the goods onto the truck, you should have that facility set up. So shipping point is nothing but it is a departure zone from where you deliver the goods to the customer. Okay, it has a departure zone from where you deliver the goods to the customer. But to deliver the goods at that particular shipping point, you should have this facility. That is how you are about to deliver. If it is a rail, if it is through rail, let's say your company is a coal excavation company or a cement company, you're probably seeing in the cement company there will be railway tracks. Why they have railway tracks in the cement company? Because cement is a very bulk transportation, right? So they have their own facility of railway tracks so that they can easily transport a lot of quantity of cement. So whenever you are creating a sales order, system will determine basing upon the sales order, customer, and the configuration, whatever we set up, which is called as shipping point determination. With the shipping point determination, system will decide which shipping point should come into the sales document. That means, okay, if it is through road, but whether it is through crane or a ramp or a truck, everything will be decided. That is shipping point.